Part 1: The Healers. The Healers weren't soldiers. They were the gentle hands of humanity, the ones who braved radiation storms and alien plagues, patching wounds across the stars. They wore the white sigil of the Red Helix, the universal mark of mercy. They treated friend and foe alike. During the serious wars, healer teams had crossed enemy lines to save both human and alien lives. That mercy had become legendary. But now, someone was using it against them. At the Central Orbital Hospital, Dr. Mara Elenko watched the news feeds flicker with panic. Her teams were stretched thin. Entire sectors were begging for help. Mara was one of the chief coordinators of the Healer Corps. For years, she'd fought bureaucrats and generals alike to keep her organization independent, neutral, untouchable. But now neutrality was killing them. She stared at the report glowing before her. Recovered debris from the Mercy's wreckage. Organic traces identified. Unknown xenospecies. An alien species, one they'd never encountered before, was abducting their medics. And no one knew why. Part 2: The First Message. The message came 2 weeks later. Not through normal comms, but through hijacked medical transmissions, piggybacking on distress beacons from captured ships. The hologram flickered into existence above the council table. It showed a creature, tall, almost insectoid, with a chitinous exoskeleton that shimmered like oil. Its multiple eyes gleamed a cold mathematical hunger. "I am Vh'lar of the Netran Dominion," it hissed. "You healers of flesh are an infection. You alter the natural order of death. You deny the rightful entropy of life." The room went silent. The alien's mandibles clicked as it leaned closer to the camera. "We have purged your healers to cleanse the disease you spread. Your mercy corrupts the cosmos. There will be no negotiation." The transmission cut. A moment later, another message arrived, this time from a captured healer ship. A single image. Hundreds of bodies floating in zero-G doctors, nurses, humanitarians, executed. It was not war. It was extermination. Part 3: The Angels of Death. General Samuel Drake had seen more than his share of bloodshed. A veteran of the Titan conflicts, he'd retired to a quiet life teaching strategy at the Lunar Academy. But when the Netran message spread across the networks, his calm ended. "They killed our healers," he said, watching the footage replayed 100 times on every news feed. "They went for the ones who save lives." He turned to his aide, a young officer named Reiko Vance. "Get me clearance. We're bringing Project Seraphim online." Project Seraphim was one of those myths whispered in military corridors. A classified program born out of desperation during the last war, designed to unleash surgical vengeance. Not an army, but a small, hyper-elite force made up entirely of ex-healers, medics, and trauma surgeons who had served on battlefields. They called themselves the Angels of Death. Every member had seen war at its ugliest. They had sworn never to harm, but they had also sworn to protect the helpless. When the Netran slaughter began, that oath ignited into something fierce, something unstoppable. Part 4: The Awakening. Mara Elenko received the encrypted message late one night. "Dr. Elenko, you trained many of us. You saved our lives once. Now we need you to help us end this. Seraphim." She stared at the signature. Seraphim, her former trainees. They were supposed to be gone, disbanded, erased from every record. When she met them again, aboard the Black Ops carrier Eidolon, she barely recognized them. Their white coats had been replaced by black armor etched with a red helix, inverted, a symbol of war in the name of mercy. "Doctor," said their leader, Captain Arun Hale, "you taught us how to save lives. Now we need your help to take them, before more are lost. Mara's hands trembled. You want me to help you kill? No, Hale replied, his eyes cold steel. We want you to help us stop the killing. Part 5 Contact. The angels of death struck fast and silent. Using healer transponders as bait, they traced the Netran ships to the Edge Nebula, where human medical convoys had been vanishing. Inside the nebula, they found a graveyard of ships, hundreds of medical vessels stripped for parts, their crews harvested for what the Netrans called purity reclamation. Drake's voice boomed over comms. Engage. No warnings. No mercy. The battle that followed was unlike any other. The Seraphim didn't fight like soldiers. They fought like surgeons. Every strike was precise, every kill calculated. They crippled Netran vessels instead of annihilating them, capturing survivors for intel. Hale led the assault on the main Hive ship himself. Inside, they found horrors beyond imagination. Human corpses dissected for study, their DNA catalogued like specimens. Mara, watching through the remote feed, whispered, "They saw our compassion as weakness." Hale's reply came through the static. "Then let's show them what human compassion looks like when it bleeds." Part 6 The Hive. At the core of the Netran Hive, they found Vh'lar, the Dominion's leader. The creature spoke through a chorus of its kind, voice reverberating through the ship. You defy the will of entropy. You heal the broken, resurrect the fallen. You are abominations. Hale leveled his plasma rifle. We're not abominations. We're humans. And we protect our own. The Hive erupted in battle. The Seraphim fought with terrifying precision, cutting through the Netran ranks. When Hale reached Vh'lar, the alien lunged with bladed limbs, slicing through armor. Hale fell to one knee, bleeding, but still raised his weapon. "This," he growled, "is what mercy costs." He fired. The plasma burst vaporized Vh'lar where it stood. The Hive began to collapse. As the Eidolon evacuated the survivors, Mara's voice came over comms again. "Captain Hale, what now?" He stared out at the dying Hive, its glow fading into the nebula's mist. "Now," he said softly, "we make sure no one forgets what happens when you come for our healers." Part 7 Aftermath. Months passed. The Netran Dominion fractured without its leader. The remaining forces withdrew into the dark corners of space, too terrified to engage humanity again. The Healer Corps rebuilt, stronger, guarded, but still dedicated to saving lives. But the Seraphim were never acknowledged publicly. Their names vanished, their deeds erased from official records. To most of humanity, the angels of death remained a myth. Yet across the colonies, quiet whispers persisted. Stories of armored medics descending from orbit when hospitals were attacked. Of black dropships marked with a crimson helix arriving in the night, delivering both healing and justice. And sometimes when an alien warlord or raider dared target a healer ship, they would receive a message before their destruction. Short, simple, chilling. We are the angels of death. We heal the wounded. We bury the guilty. Part 8 The Last Broadcast. Years later, on a remote moon colony, Dr. Mara Elenko stood before a new generation of healers. The galaxy had changed, but the memory of the fallen still haunted her. She told them of the Red Helix, of what it meant to carry compassion across the stars. But when one young trainee asked if the angels of death were real, Mara only smiled sadly. "Sometimes," she said, "humanity has to remind the universe that our kindness is a choice, not a weakness." As the students dispersed, she looked to the horizon where the sun burned low over the alien desert. Her wrist comm vibrated. A coded signal flashed briefly, an old one she hadn't seen in years. Seraphim active. She closed her eyes and whispered, "May the angels watch over you." Epilogue, the lesson of the angels. Across the centuries that followed, the story of the Netran Purge became legend. Humanity's allies told it as a cautionary tale, its enemies as a whispered threat. They learned that humanity's compassion was not infinite, but neither was it fragile. It could heal the dying. It could rebuild worlds. And when provoked, it could burn entire empires to ash. Because at the heart of every human healer, beneath the gentle hands and kind words, there was something far older and fiercer than mercy. Fire. Promise. That if you ever came for Earth's healers again, you would meet the angels of death.